Hello, I'm Cody, and tomorrow I'm heading off to Providence to go to RISD. So I thought that it would be a good idea to look through my portfolio that got me into RISD and just talk about it, maybe share some things that I was thinking about, and hopefully help y'all out. So my first piece is Back Then, and here it is, 10 by 10 inches, done in gouache, and it's like probably one of my favorite pieces in my portfolio, and one of the main things that I heard about putting a portfolio together is that you should put your best piece first, or one of your best pieces first, to hook the people. So I did that. And next is One Last Summer. It's the same style, same medium, same size, but kind of a different tone and a different feeling or vibe. And I just wanted to show like my tonal flexibility, I think. With this one, it's relatively the same, but I wanted to show how I could change the theme. And after that, we do quite the 180 to character sheet. I have it here. All of my pieces are pretty small, so this was just in my sketchbook. But I wanted to make a shift from painting to something more cartoony and more stylized and expressive to show that I was able to do that. And the next piece was a self-portrait. This was also very small, but I wanted to show kind of my detail and my rendering, sort of. And just, again, showing my, like, expressiveness, sort of, in, like, rendering. And then I did this one from direct observation, because the other ones have been done from pictures, but one thing that I heard about a lot in portfolio critiques and a lot of like recommendations for portfolios is that you have a lot of drawings from direct observation, because they can tell pretty easily. Like, it surprised me how some of the professors can just like instantly tell if a piece isn't drawn from direct observation, because drawing from a photo and real life they seem similar, but they are kind of different. Like, you aren't looking from one point of view constantly. It's sort of changing as you move and as light changes, and it requires a different skill set, I think. I think that they're both valuable in their own right. Another thing that I tried to do to kind of mitigate the issue of like working with photos is that all of the pictures that I used as references or that I drew from, I took myself, or I tried modifying things sort of about it, or making stylistic changes, I guess, to show that I wasn't relying solely on the photo. But in some cases I did do that with like the previous self-portrait, because I wanted to show like detail, and now I'm showing that I can work from direct observation. And then also exaggerating colors in a more like expression-y style. And then the next one was a still life. And this was kind of in that same style with the colored pencils that I was working with. And again, this is like new medium for me. I don't typically work with colored pencils or ever before in this style, but I wanted to show my versatility. And this is also a direct observation. I got a taxidermy bear, or I didn't get it, but I did kind of get it's my dad's, and I borrowed it to do a still life. And I took some random objects around the house and I made that. This one is also a still life, and it is of that same bear, but my dad put it up in the loft area in our house, and I just did a drawing of that corner of the room. And this was just more experimenting with like values and direct observation, kind of comparatively loose, sort of, but I just wanted to again show drawings done from direct observation. And also with a lot of the details, I've heard people talking about like how you want to like fill the additional details and you want to explain your work even if you have nothing to say. But I don't find that to be the case. Like with a lot of my pieces, I didn't add any details. Like I did it with my first two pieces, but then with with my character sheet. Willie, shut up. But with my character sheet, I didn't add any details. I didn't add any like additional information because I felt like it didn't need it. And then I also did that with my first self-portrait with the HB. I'll probably be putting pictures up again, I don't know, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And then with the self-portrait that I was drawing from direct observation, the only thing that I said was from direct observation, like the necessary information. They don't want to have fluff, really. Like, it doesn't really I don't think that it makes you seem more impressive. And then for this next piece, I did something in a new medium again. I did Going On. Wait, I have it. Here. But I did a wood burning on a wooden plank panel thing. Again, I wanted to show my versatility, and also I guess that a lot of the themes in my portfolio are of nature. And I think that when I was arranging the portfolio, I wanted to kind of make the transitions between pieces either between like stylistically or thematically, sort of. So coming from all of the still lives of like the bears and of nature, I wanted to transition to this one. And also the last one was black and white, and then this one is like also sort of not really dealing with color. So a lot of the ways in which I arrange things, I just wanted to make it a more seamless transition between pieces. The next one was another direct observational drawing. Oh, and then this one was also, the skull was direct observation. But anyway, this is a direct observation drawing from my sketchbook. It's quite small, and I think I might actually have it in my sketchbook. Yes, I do. Here it is. Again, pretty small. All of my pieces are pretty small, which is one issue, I guess. But I did this of my meme. Not much to say about that. And then more portrait sketches. These were from Pinterest images, so I didn't take these. I hope that they don't care, but I just really like the way that these turned out, like the sketches and the values I really liked, and the colors, and how I was still kind of loose with it. So I just really wanted to include this piece. And then this next piece is of me naked. Awkward. I have it here. This isn't what it looks. I took a picture before I added this part because I don't like what I did, and then I stopped, but so I used an earlier picture of that. But I was looking through Michael Parks's work. He's an artist. I have his art book and I really enjoy, but I really like their work. I'll put images up and then I'll like correct myself, I guess, editing, but I really liked their work, so I wanted to kind of emulate their style or take inspiration from their work. So I did that with this piece. And I wanted to do something monochromatic, but I wanted to kind of replicate the oil, kind of like the browns and the whites and the yellows sort of in the work, and like this really soft quality that their work has, while also being very like surreal. And I just really enjoyed that, so I wanted to try working with that and working with values. And then I included like in the details that it was inspired by that. Next was a figure study of myself. This was also a picture, but I did something really loose and quick, and I just wanted to add that in there to show like I can do these very detail oriented things, or like things where I spend a lot of time on, but I can also do quick stuff because I imagine that we're going to be doing that in art school. So yeah. And then charcoal lady, I have her. This was like one of my first times working with charcoal. I did this winter or last winter, I don't remember. Wait, no, 2 winter, doesn't matter. But I got a scholarship to study under the artist Judy Taylor, and so that was one of her assignments, to render that lady, and then I did that. And it really helped me with value in working with charcoal, and I think that it turned out really nice. I also, when I put it in to slide room, I changed the composition to make it more interesting, so that she wasn't just in the center of the image. Because one thing that I do have an issue with is my compositions, because a lot of them are very like kind of dead center, and I wanted to switch that up by creating some more interesting compositions. And then my next piece is also a charcoal painting, or charcoal drawing, and it's actually it's up there. Crap. This is not very professional at all, sorry. But anyway, here's the piece. It's of my dad, because we hunt together and stuff, and I also wanted to make this portfolio representative of myself as well as of my skills. So a lot of the stuff that I'm interested in, whether it be nature and people and wildlife, I wanted to include those aspects, as well as like personal interests of mine, like hunting. So I did that because I just want to have the portfolio display who I am, so then the college kind of knows what they're dealing with. But so I did that. And then, speaking of personal experiences, one thing that I do every year with my family is I go on the Allagash, which is a 100-mile canoe trip. And about 2 summers ago, I did a sketchbook drawing. I did a sketchbook drawing every day of the trip at the different campsites and stuff, and I don't know, these are just a few of them, but I don't think that you can see them at all, but it doesn't matter. But and they're pretty small, but this was one of them, of the Allagash Falls. And I wanted to include that because, again, direct observation, those are good. They like direct observation sketches. And also, it's a cool experience of mine that I wanted to share. And then another Allagash painting, but this was done from a picture. And it's of 2 family friends that accompanied us on this trip. And then this painting, which I think that you can see it up there, it's right like over my bed. But that's of my dog, Remo, and he passed away over a year ago, I guess, but he was basically like my best friend, and I actually did start this painting before he died, and then it took me several months to come back to it and finish it. But I really wanted to include this just because, again, he's very important to me. But I also really liked how it turned out, and I'm pretty proud of it. So I did that. And then this piece is oil, and it was my first time using oil, and it was also my first time using a palette knife. So I did that, and I made it pretty haphazardly. I wanted to experiment with textures. The colors are pretty basic, but I just wanted to be very loose with this painting, and again, experiment and stuff with a new medium. So I did that. And then this piece was, I did in my digital art class during my senior year, of a landscape outside of, like, this is the area where I live, and I wanted to include that, even though it doesn't mention that in the thing, in the description. But I wanted, again, I mostly do traditional, so I wanted to display, hey, I can do digital stuff too. And again, nature themes. And then this is the last piece in my portfolio, and it's a collage, pretty different from the stuff that I typically do, and I used besides the pen, all of the other materials I found in my backyard. So I wanted to kind of show the creativity, I guess, with the materials that I'm using, and that I can synthesize the materials with the meaning of the piece, because I think that is pretty cool. So I did that. But yeah, that's my portfolio. And the next thing would be the RISD assignment. And for this year, there were 3 different options that we could choose from, and there were 3 options of paired concepts. So there were 2 words that kind of juxtaposed each other, and we had to choose one of these options. So the first one was ephemeral and tangible, the next was complexity and contradiction, and the last one was chaos and order. And I chose the first one, ephemeral and tangible, and I tried to display how these themes worked with one another. And the first part of the assignment was to show our process. I wonder if I can find that. I put a bunch of my sketch pages, I collaged them sort of, or just put them all on this one file of my process with arriving to this, trying to think of what to do with this theme. And there you go for that. It is pretty messy, but I wanted to show the process by which I think of things and come to a final thing, because they want to see your process. So you shouldn't be scared of not having super nice, refined work if they're asking to see your brainstorming process, which I think that most people know, but it can be scary, I guess. But anyway, my final RISD piece was, voila, this. And it was the biggest, I think it's not the biggest piece that I've ever done, but the biggest watercolor piece that I've ever done, and the biggest rendered piece that I've done. It was all watercolor with a little bit of colored pencil, but it took me so long. It took forever. There were a ton of all-nighters on this one, but I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. The colors are a little basic, I don't know. But anyway, for ephemeral and tangible, I wanted to kind of, I guess that the process by which I was thinking was it's just kind of difficult to think of how do you combine ephemeral and tangible. Like, ephemeral is inherently non-tangible, but the way that I approached it was that I wanted to use kind of motion and forms to give a sense of fluidity to the piece so that it would be seen as like in flux and changing and ephemeral. And then the figure is standing kind of in this very, not solid pose, but they're standing in juxtaposition with the flow of those forms to show like a tangibility. But then at the same time, they're kind of giving way with the arms and the forms, and they're kind of in flux with each other, I guess. But I'm not sure exactly how to explain things. But and then also ephemeral, like like the first thing that I kind of thought of was like butterflies. So, I mean, because they're ephemeral, which is a little basic, but I don't know. I guess it worked out okay. And I guess what I was thinking with this piece for myself personally was just like, it's so hard to look forward into the future, and I was kind of unsure of where I was going. But for me, this piece kind of represents like being in a cocoon, but you're kind of coming out of it. I'm explaining this so badly. But I wanted to kind of display my sense of like my perception of the future, sort of. And I mean, I guess it worked out because I'm going to RISD tomorrow, so yeah. But that's pretty much that. I'm trying to think of if there are any other things that I would think of. Oh, okay, colleges that I got into. So I got into all of the colleges that I applied to, and I applied to 9 colleges. So I was accepted by, well, I'll just put them all up on the screen, I think, probably. Because I can't really remember. But I am pretty excited to go to RISD, so I am looking forward to that. And honestly, I guess that a lot of things that people ask about are like, what other things did you put on your application that might make you more desirable and stuff? And I can only really speak from my own experience, but my grades weren't super great. I don't think that art schools really care about that as much. I think I was around like a 3.5 or 3.7, like somewhere around there. So like still good, but not like, ooh, good. So, and then in terms of extracurriculars, I didn't really have that much stuff. I used to do sports at the beginning of high school, but then I kind of stopped in the last few years. And I did do National Art Honor Society for all 4 years, but I was never in like a lead role. And then besides that, I didn't really do many extracurriculars. And for my essay, I wrote about my experience with hunting, which I do think might have set me apart from the other applicants. I want it because with my essay, I'm not sure how essential the essay is or how much it determines, but I wanted to talk about something that I was passionate about and something that I thought would make me stand out. And I think that that worked because I did get in, but who can say? Oh, also, one more thing is that you have to go to National Portfolio Review Day. It's so helpful. I went to it like, I must have gone like at least 3 or 4 times, probably more than that. But they have a bunch of different times that a bunch of colleges will have people critique your portfolio, and you can share pieces with them and you can talk to them, and it's so helpful. It really helped me a lot with synthesizing my portfolio and making changes to pieces, and then finding gaps in my portfolio that I could fill with other pieces to show off my skills in a better way. And it's free and it's online, or it was like when I was doing it. I don't know. I know that they have in-person national portfolio review days, but definitely check that out because it was so helpful, and it was like one of the biggest helps to me personally. So anyway, that was my RISD accepted portfolio, and I hope that you learned some interesting stuff. And I hope that you maybe learn from whatever. I'm not very good at explaining things, and this video has been all over the place, but I hope that you had fun, and I'll see you later.